Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. I'll give you my financial opinions on it. We're going to work through the dollar, yields, precious metals, commodities, and ETFs that I follow. If you guys need any help with anything commodity related, definitely check out finding-value.com. Head over there, go to the website, use the word discount in the coupon code for the platinum membership if you want to join, and get yourself a discount. All right, so we're going to dive in here. I'm going to head right into it, give you my opinion. So we're going to start with the dollar. And the dollar, again, this is a topping pattern here. Boop, 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 boop. Well, actually, what this is, we call this the Batman. I'm going to have to give credit to Uselink. Put the little eyes there. That's Batman. That's a Batman topping pattern. It is heading lower. Now, that doesn't mean that we're just going to head straight lower. I think it depends on what interest rates are going to do. And if we get an increasing interest rate environment, which is possible, we could see a strengthening of the dollar. If we get kind of a sideways motion, we could see a weakening of the DXY. If other areas are having monetary strengthening or tighter monetary conditions in other currencies, is going to have the dollar go down. If we tighten and they don't, then the dollar goes up for the most part. Looking at the 10-year yield, we're slightly lower, but more or less, this is really just moving sideways. Now, one could say, and it's hidden in here, that this is a double bottom. It sure looks like this is double bottoming out. And it is kind of a weird spot to be having this type of double bottom. I will agree with that. So it may not be a double bottom, but it is looking a little bit weird when looking at this on a on the candlestick there. So that I went to the DXY. I'm like, where'd it go? There's the 10-year yield. So what could potentially be happening there, I don't know why it keeps going back, is we are getting a double bottom. This will head higher, and that we move on higher with the price of oil. Oil does look like it's trying to put in a little bit of a bottom, and rates generally follow what oil does. And then the Federal Reserve follows what the market does, which is the 2-year Treasury yield, and the 10-year kind of just moves with, I think, oil. For the most part. So that does look like it's trying to put in some sort of bottom, perhaps, unless we somehow break below this support level that I've got there. The TLT bond prices slightly higher, but, you know, this does look like a little bit of a pennant formation. We did enter it from the top side, so this is conflicting information with the 10-year yield. But we still have not broken out yet, and there is still time for this to head lower. But I wouldn't bet on it. It's kind of at a spot where I don't know where this thing's going to go in the short term. We've got a lot of information that needs to be digested. Larger picture view, momentum's heading lower. And if I were to look at this from a monthly perspective, we have 3 down candlesticks with some pretty good force, and the buyers are not convincingly bringing this to the upside. So if I were to look at this and do some sort of approach, I think this is going to head lower, breaking out to the downside at some point, which means that bond prices could head lower in the short to medium term. Yields go higher. Think of a more inverted yield curve potentially. And then the TYX, this is the 30-year yield. It's just moving sideways. But if you look, yields really shot higher here, and the selling pressure is really nothing. So I think we're going higher in yields. Weird to say that. I know. Higher yields. What? And then we've got the TYX to TNX ratio. When this inverts, if it's going to invert more, it's going to go down. If it uninverts or normalizes, it goes up, which means the TYX moves up in relationship to TNX. So TNX goes down while TYX goes down slower or stays flat. Gold and silver do well, going from a low ratio up, and then Generally, in an inverted yield curve, precious metals do not like that. But today, we did uninvert a little bit, 0.65, which means we had TNX down and TYX flat. So that generally means that precious metals, they're going to do okay under that condition, and same with the DXY, barely lower. So I think precious metals will be barely higher. CRB index up today, still looking fantastic from this perspective. Again, this is more or less just the price of oil. We've got the CRB to S&P 500. It is going down a little bit because the S&P did quite well today. And then we've got the precious metals. So gold slightly higher. That is good that buyers came in and bought this thing up. So the weakness there, there's not much selling pressure there. And this is a reversal candlestick where we could go higher. We call it the hammer. It's hammer time. And then silver doing the same thing. We've got a bunch of buying pressure all through here. That's what those wicks are on the bottom. Means the price traded down, it got bought back up, and then it closed up inside the pattern. Happened again today. It looks like the sellers were trying to push it lower. Buyers came in and said, yeah, good luck, we're going higher. So we'll see what happens the rest of this week if we get some buying pressure in there and how this thing actually develops and forms. We also have a squeeze going on here into this corner here. So it is squeezing on up. So we'll see which way this thing breaks. Platinum also getting a little bit of buying pressure today, getting that wick on the bottom. Is it hammer time? We'll find out the rest of this week, but you can see the opening and closing prices of these candles contracted down. It slowed down into a bullish engulfing with a hammer candlestick. Generally what that says, statistically speaking, higher. I don't know the exact probabilities of it, like 70 or 80%, I think, something like that is what I would say. But we could see a short-term move to the upside. It does not mean it will be long-lasting. It could be something as short as this. Or it could be something that is a bottom, and we rip it all the way up, and we break this downtrend, and so on and so forth. XEU to gold ratio looks like it's trying to put in some sort of bottoming pattern. That's a bullish piercing, or very close to it. We also have this bullish engulfing there. We went up in less days and came down in more days. That's generally bullish. I know I omitted these two, and that's generally what I see. Large green candlesticks, small down red days, and then a little bottoming pattern, and then we head higher. What does that mean? It means the gold and silver miners could outperform gold, and gold could be putting in a bottom to head higher. We have to see this play out, but it does look like the buyers are trying to line something up here. So that's good. We're still below this long-term downtrend line that we're trying to break out. That is still overhead resistance and up there. GDX slightly higher today, putting in that little bullish piercing pattern to head higher. So that's looking a little bit better. We also have SILJ, which I believe is doing something very similar. It's a bullish engulfing, which will head on higher. It's a reversal candlestick to move on up. So SILJ looking good, GDX looking good, and the metals looking not too bad. Crude oil up 1.53%. I talked about it yesterday. We're looking for a reversal candlestick. This could be a reversal candlestick. That's what the wick is on the bottom. It sold off throughout the day, came back up. Momentum is heading to the upside. Let's see if the buyers can push this momentum to the upside and maintain it tomorrow. That's what we're looking for. So this could be the reversal that we're looking for and the start of another big move for oil. Natural gas getting a little bit of buying pressure today. I know this thing has been, looks like death here going down, but we're getting a little bit of buying pressure, 2.2%. I know some people are coming out with some pretty rough calls on natural gas that are really low. And that very well could be the case. The weather has been incredibly warm in Europe, and they are not eating through their inventory levels. And it's also been warm in America, just on average, not every single day, not this past week, just on average. We're not eating through our inventories, and we're not shipping it across the seas, and across the seas is not eating through their inventories. So there could be a glut potential that we're heading into in the springtime. So that is, the potential is out there. And XOP, yeah, you know me, hitting this one up, downtrend broken, and we're getting a little bit of buying pressure today. We'll see if this is a reversal candlestick or not. You could say it's a bullish piercing, where the opening price is below the day before and it closes above the 50th percentile. What that looks like on a short-term basis, we'll just, chart it out here, is basically you kind of come through here, you break out through this downtrend line and came up above the 50th percentile of the day before. So what that is a reversal trend. And this is what it looks like on a 5-minute trading session. So you come on up and you can see these things, they kind of break, they stair step higher here is usually what I call it. You come up, stare, 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 and we'll see if we keep breaking higher. Higher lows, higher highs. But that's XOP looking at it from a zoomed in perspective. OIH up 2.13%, putting in the bullish engulfing. Laying down some good patterns here to move higher. Bullish engulfing there, bullish engulfing here. Now this is a bearish engulfing, but we answered it with 2 bullish engulfings. So I think that we have a good probability of heading higher. Now, big picture view, this thing looks ultra strong. Ultra strong. Give it to me, baby. Shoulder, head, shoulder, boom! This could be a big bottoming pattern. I'm not stating that this is just going to go rocketing higher day after day. What I am stating is that we have a kind of an inverted head and shoulders that we've got on our hands. We've broken the neckline to the upside. That is screaming, come get me. That's what I'll say. We've also broken this long-term. We've got a little support resistance area through here that you could also use as another neckline down here, which you could use. And I put another neckline going kind of 45. Either way, the necklines are there. We've broken both of them. They're up to the upside. And we've got a bullish engulfing on the short term. So I think it looks really good. Here, and if you guys need help picking energy service companies, I've got a whole bunch on the website that are just killer picks. Killer picks. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, what are you doing with this bearish engulfing here, buddy? So we got one here too. This is what the extent of the pullback was, and then a move higher. Now we got another one rearing its head today. So generally speaking, we might get a little bit of a pullback. What we want to see, or what I want to see, is I don't want to see anybody panic. That's number one. Number two, we want to see how far this thing pulls back. So if you kind of look at this and where I think we're going with this, look at the lows. You've got the lows here, a low here, like major lows, major low here, a major low here. We don't want to break and get way below $14. We have another low here, which is kind of a short-term low. So if we only come back to like here and then we head up higher, it's game on, baby. That's what I'm going to say. It's game on. So there's my little pattern looking at the lows. And remember, your highs are stuck at this resistance level. We're squeezing up into that resistance area and our lows are coming up, which means the buyers are getting tired. The buyers are wearing out the sellers. And the sellers are getting tired. We're wearing them out, and they have less selling pressure each time they try to push this back to the downside. They pushed us back to here. We hit the same level, pushed us back to here. See how we're inching it up towards that resistance line? It's exactly what we want to see. URNM down a little bit today, which is pretty much expected. We've got a trend line here. We've broken it to the upside, but a lot of the times it likes to do this return, retest, back test, however you want to say it, move. And that's, I think, what we're doing. It doesn't have to go all the way back. Sometimes it does. So if it's a full retest, 35.50, 35.75, something like that. But it looks good. We've got the reversal candlestick there. That's the reversal. We have our reversal today. And we'll see if we get all the way back or not. But I do think we're going to head higher in the short term after maybe today or maybe a couple days. And then I'm expecting the buyers to come in and do some buying. Looking at TAN also heading higher today. It's right underneath that resistance line. Remember what I talk about, the lows, low, higher low, higher low, higher low. It's coming right into it. We're going to squeeze out of this trend area or resistance trend line. and do some partying moves to the upside. This could be a big mover. The fractals here are pretty big. The bottom here is at 13 bucks. It went all the way to 47. It's a pretty decent sized move for an ETF. So I expect this to go up a good ways. Probably maybe even back to like 275 or something like that. COPX also up 1.62%. There's your double booty bottom. The double booties are coming out. We can see it in also TAN. So TAN's got the double booty. COPX has the double booty. And we're looking at this. Nice, good, strong finish today. Nice, strong looking candlestick. Big opening and closing price. It's finishing at its highs. Guys, this looks good. So copper looks really good. Lithium also putting in a bullish piercing. So guys, it's looking good across the board. I don't see too much weakness. TAN's looking good. COPX is looking good. Getting lit is looking good. And then we got REMX. REMX putting in the bullish engulfing right on the trend line. This is a retest here, and this is going to move higher, in my opinion, from looking at the candlestick patterns and where we are. So the rare earths also look raringly good. So that's good. SPX also putting in the pressure, putting in the buying power, putting in the work, I should say. This looks like it wants to go higher. So SPX also, let's zoom in from outer space here. Coming in, I think we're going higher. And I know that all the bears out there, they just like to walk around saying bear things because they get more YouTube clicks, but screw it, I'm not a bear, I guess. Sorry, guys. The bears sound smart, I guess, but the bulls get rich. So we're heading higher here in the NASDAQ. This is also looking quite substantially good. So what I look for is the Green Army. What is the Green Army? It started here. There's your bullish engulfing. Now we headed up and it kind of squeezed up a little bit. So we popped out of that. We came back, and then the Green Army, which is all big green candlestick, green guys, I call it. And small red little guys all kind of sprinkled throughout. But this is the Green Army. It's pushing it higher. I don't know who's doing what and who's buying it. I'm just saying that buyers are coming in here, pushing it higher, and this is the bullish engulfing that started it. That big bullish engulfing reversal candlestick day. EEM slightly lower today. Again, I still think this looks fantastic for a potential move to the upside. You could also say that there's some sort of little bit of resistance through here. If you look on back, there's some resistance that we're hitting. So we're hitting our head on that resistance. It's all this trading going on all through here. So there's some resistance all back there that we have to basically work our way through. XHB. All right, housing bears. Tell me why the home builders are going higher, and tell me how we all knew that we have a double bottom pattern. I drew this in. I said, this looks like a double bottom. We're also seeing a double bottom in what? Interest in yields. In yields, I know. Yields are probably going to go higher. Yields going higher and the home market going higher, generally looking at history, go up together. But it does impact affordability, and I think the psychology of humans have to digest some of these moves, and they may have to save more money. I don't know what the whole background is on everything in terms of the psychology of buying at higher interest rates or anything like that, but the home builders are heading higher. The market is piling into this stuff. Look at the size of that candlestick. That is a green middle finger right at us, screaming, that's not to me. I'm a bull, guys. That's at all you bears. That's not at me. That's at the bears. I'm a friendly. So good luck with that one. Moo is up also 1.33% with the bullish engulfing, heading higher, looking fantastic. The fertilizer stocks are looking like they are on fire and fuego, something like that. And then we've got copper futures. Nice little reversal candlestick today, getting on the hammer time. So MC Hammer looks like it's finding its way into copper futures, MC Hammer that is, and hopefully it reverses and head higher. We're seeing bullish engulfings. We're seeing some of these hammer candlesticks. So we're seeing a mixture. Lumber, what are you doing? 1.5%. So we've got a pullback in a falling wedge, which is typically a bottoming pattern. We talked about it together on this channel. Everybody, we've been looking at this breakout. And guess what? Guess where else that is at? It's at a long-term support line. You know where I buy things? I buy it right in this tip. I do just the tip, exactly. So we have the long-term resistance line. We come back, we break out, we come in, and then we do a return move. And that return move is what we're doing now. We hit it, and then we're coming and jumping off that support level. Now, does this mean we're going to go straight higher? I don't know, guys. I don't know the path. I don't predict paths. I don't predict price futures. I just say, statistically speaking, this has a good chance of breaking higher. It did that. Home builders are also breaking higher. It's funny how all of this aligns together. And mortgage rates have pulled back a little bit. And we'll have to see if yields start to go higher again, how that impacts the housing market. That is basically what is holding down the affordability is those interest rates. And obviously home prices do too, but they're less of an impact than interest rates are coming from a low interest rate environment. TIO, this is the iron ore. I'm going to switch to lines. And I don't know why this isn't updating, but it's up at 128, which is actually up here. I don't know why this line isn't updating. 128 is like right up here. That's where it's at. So I still get the price over here, but the chart isn't updating for some reason. Nickel is flat. Again, I think nickel is going to do crazy stuff. We've got our double booty bottom here. There's the lead in, and then you get the two booties. Or it's one booty. It's just a double cheek bottom, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. We came in and kind of squeezed up a little bit, came back down, and then we're still heading on higher. So that's good. We've got aluminum. So I don't know if aluminum's up to date here, but I think it was up today, and I don't see it here. So let me type in aluminum. See, we got aluminum spot here. Aluminum spot was up 3.32% today. This is the spot price. And we do have a head shoulder. And we are sitting on top of it, ready to launch. This is, let's get into launch mode on aluminum. I am ultra bullish on aluminum, guys. There's problems coming ahead of us, and this thing is ready for launch. So that's aluminum. And I've got a pick, aluminum pick on the website if you want to see it. And it's doing some crazy stuff already. Baltic Dry Index. This is in the making, I think, of a potential false breakout, an FBO. That's an FBO where we're going to head on higher. Usually on false breakouts, what they're called is a slingshot cheetah. So what happens is it breaks down falsely to the downside. And then what it does is it's like pulling a slingshot and kind of priming the system with a bunch of pressure because if people get short down here. And then all those shorts get squeezed as it moves on up. So what happens is you get all these technical analyst guys. They look at the chart and they say, oh, this is a breakout to the downside. Let's get short. And then they get short. And then they're like, oh, yeah, that was a really smart move. And then, boom, those guys who are all, yeah, let's do this, get completely squeezed to the nuts, so to speak. And then they have to buy back their shorts, increasing the buying pressure of whatever it is that they're in, rocketing up the stock or whatever they're in even higher. Newcastle coal futures, this has had a massive breakdown to the downside. Now, is this legit? It could be. I know natural gas has been having some problems, and I know coal and natural gas are linked together. They do both generate electricity. Natural gas, I know, also generates heat. And looking at natural gas does have some problems because it's been warm out in Europe and in America over the past few months, the average. So inventories are a little bit higher, especially over in Europe. And it is putting pressure on natural gas, which I think in turn is putting pressure on coal. But we'll see where this thing heads up in the longer term. I do think long term, generally when we see this, we break out, we get kind of maybe a shoulder pattern with a neckline, and then it kind of breaks on down. We get a return move, and then the real fun begins as this goes up. Now, I don't know where this thing's going to return and move to. Generally speaking, what I see, if I were to look at this, is you usually kind of come up, you trade like this, you come higher, and then you come back to this point here, and then you go and move on higher. So maybe it's like somewhere in this general vicinity down there for coal. Looking at Ethereum. Ethereum is slightly higher today, up 0.3%. And let's get back to the candles. Let's get back to the dailies. And we're still inside this little pattern squeezing up, just like Bitcoin is. So it is undecided. And Bitcoin, you could almost say, I'll just draw it in quick, is more like that, like a megaphone type pattern. Megaphone patterns are typically a sign of undecisiveness. It doesn't know what to do. So it's kind of going back and forth. But that's what I'm seeing on the candlesticks today, guys, and the charts. Those are patterns and candlestick patterns and where I think we are going. Everything looks pretty good for a move on higher. Now, I can't remember when Powell's coming out and doing a speech. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday. I didn't look. But it doesn't even matter to me. This commodity bull market's going to happen. This just determines what it's going to do in the short term. And the market's going to digest whatever comes out. But I think everything right now looks ultra bullish. Big bullish engulfings all across the area. Maybe the market's pricing in a 0.25 increase or zero or whatever. I don't whatever it's pricing in. It's pricing something in now. But everything looks really good. The way that I view this is looser monetary conditions. You can see that in the housing market. You can see it in lumber prices. You can see it all over the place. It's all interconnected. It's all saying the same thing. So commodity prices are also going to price in, weaker monetary conditions or looser monetary conditions, or ones that just go flat, is going to go higher, I think, because the money's in the system. The rates haven't come down, and none of the problems have been solved from a supply side perspective. So that's what we're looking at ahead of us. It looks good. And hopefully this momentum can continue. Hopefully we can keep rocketing on higher. And yeah, hopefully that's what goes down. If you guys need help, again, check out the website. Discount for the coupon code. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. And love to see you in the community on the website. We do have a Discord. We talk about a lot of these stocks. It's a pretty cool community. You can definitely check it out. You don't need any experience or anything like that. And that's all I've got. So we'll catch you tomorrow. This is Finding Value.